So this video will be shorter and much more focused on, once you get everything opened up, how do you basically do the valve lash adjustment. Hi everyone, welcome to Life Made Simple. Today we're working on a 2005 Acura TL with a 3.2 liter engine. We are going to do a valve lash adjustment. Why are we doing a valve lash adjustment? Well, these Honda engines, they're not hydraulic lifters, so over time they need some mechanical adjustments. I've got the lower intake plenum gasket, I've got the upper intake plenum gasket, upper intake gasket, throttle body gasket, valve cover gaskets, spark plug tube seal gaskets, and then finally the grommets for the bolts for the valve cover. Just so you know, taking apart the intake, removing the spark plugs, disconnecting the negative on the battery, these are all kind of the common things you need to do to get to the point where you can remove the valve cover, and underneath that you'll have access to where you need to do the valve lash adjustment. I'm going to link to a couple other videos that I did which relates to how to remove spark plugs or replace spark plugs on this style engine, as well as how to replace valve cover gaskets. With that in mind, I'm not going to go through all of those details in this video. Really, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. I'm going to get to the point where we're doing the valve lash adjustment, turning the crankshaft so we can get to top dead center, making those adjustments, and then that'll be the end of this video. Hopefully you finished watching the video on how to remove valve cover gaskets. So at this point, we're looking at the rear bank here. So I guess if you're looking from the front of the engine, you've got 1, 2, 3 cylinders in that order, number 1, 2, 3. And what you're going to see is closer to the intake plenum, which is missing here now. Closer to the intake side, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 valves that you want to adjust. These are for the intake because they're closer to the intake side. And then on the opposite side here, over here, you're also going to see, I'll point it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hopefully you can see the last ones as well, 5, 6, and those will be the exhaust valves. So they're further back, and they're on the side with the exhaust manifold. So there's a total of 6 intake valves on the rear bank, which is cylinders 1, 2, 3 that you need to adjust, and then also 6 valves on the exhaust side of the rear bank, again cylinders 1, 2, 3. You remove the cover for the front, and then same thing, you've got cylinders 4, 5, and 6, and then each of them have 2 intake valves to adjust, 2 exhaust valves to adjust. The way you adjust it, we're going to get into that now. We're going to start with cylinder 1, intake valves there, and then exhaust valves back there. So what you do is you come underneath the vehicle here, and then here you'll see I remove the fender cover, just a couple of plastic clips, and then you just let it kind of come away from the engine. So here you go, you can see there's a long-handle ratchet on here with a 19mm socket, which goes onto the crankshaft bolt, which you turn clockwise. You rotate the engine clockwise by cranking this, and then it'll turn and line up the cylinders that you'll see up in the timing cover that'll show you. Ignore the 5 and the 6. All I basically did was I just wanted to get a bearing because I'm kind of doing this myself. So I just want to get a bearing of where each of the top dead centers for 1 through 6 are, and I just mark them so I have a rough idea as I'm getting close. Because as I get close to that, what you do then, you got the front valve timing cover, which is right there. It's got this little piece of rubber that covers that hole on the timing cover on the front bank. There's also one in the rear bank. You can see there's a rubber timing cover there as well. So I'm just going to use the front basically, and what I'm looking for in there, you're going to see different numbers come up for the different cylinders. So right now you can see that there's the number 3 in there with a timing mark, and then down on this rubber piece on the timing cover, there's a notch on the timing cover right there at the bottom. And what you do is you line it up with the line on the sprocket that points to 3 or 1 or 5, 6, 4, 2 of course. So what I do is I'm going to crank it over clockwise so that the timing cover there is timed directly with the first cylinder, which would mean top dead center. Once I have it set up at top dead center, then I go back to these valves, and then in here you'll see you'll need a flathead screwdriver and you'll need a 10mm wrench, what you're basically going to do is you're going to loosen that 10mm nut, and then we're going to use a feeler gauge, get the gap correct, which we adjust by tightening or loosening this flathead bolt, and then after that you tighten it down with the 10mm socket, tightening down this nut. And you're going to do that basically 6 times here for the first 3 cylinders intake valves, and another 6 times for the rear 1, 2, 3 cylinders exhaust valves, and then again for the front. So when you're done, you've basically adjusted 24 valves on this V6 engine. Now that cylinder 5 is at top dead center, what we're going to do is we're going to adjust this by loosening the jam nut here, getting a feeler gauge in between the rocker arm and the valve, and then adjusting it with a flathead screwdriver so I get the right overall gap. And then from there you hold that screw steady while you basically tighten it down to about 10 foot-pounds for that jam nut. The intake spec is between 0.008 and 0.009 inches, or between 0.20 and 0.24 millimeters. You want a little bit of resistance. You don't want it so tight that you can't pull this out, and you want it so loose that it's just gliding in and out. So if you can sense it here, there's a bit of drag, and that's basically what you want. So actually I don't think this one needs adjusting, but I'm going to show you how here. Basically you're going to take your wrench on that jam nut and you're going to loosen it off like that. And then what you do is you put your feeler gauge in there. And like I said, this one was already in pretty good shape. What you do is you basically take a flathead screwdriver, you can tighten it down, and you can see right now it's way too tight. I can't even get the feeler gauge out. And on the other side, you don't want it so loose that there's basically no resistance. So you're trying to get it just so you got a good amount of clearance, but it's also got just the tiniest bit of drag going on. And once you're comfortable with that spot that you're in, you take your wrench, and then you're going to tighten it down. And then you can put the feeler gauge back in to double check that. And actually I feel it's a little bit loose, looser than I'd like it to be. So I'm going to back this off again. Like that. What's in there? Okay, and again, just continually test it. This isn't something that you have to like rush through. I mean, you've got everything taken apart, you've got the valve covers off. You can take your time to get this right. If you want to adjust it, you feel like it's a little bit too loose, too tight, get the right setting, tighten it down the way you want, and then carry on with the other intake valve and then with the exhaust valves. And then from there, you're going to continue rotating through the engine. In this case, I'm just showing you cylinder number 5. In general, I'm going to go through 1 through 6, and I'm going to write everything down just so I know which ones I've done and whether I felt I had to adjust them or not. Okay, just so you're aware, I did the same thing on the other intake valve. I've got a bit of drag there. It's moving nicely. Now it's time to work on the exhaust valves on the bottom. So same procedure. Basically, you're going to take your wrench. You're going to back off the jam nut. You're going to take your feeler gauge. In this case, it's not the same gap as the intake. The exhaust one is going to be a little bit different. The exhaust spec that you're looking for is somewhere between 0.011 and 0.013 inches, or between 0.28 to 0.32 millimeters. So I think this one's actually pretty tight. So I'm just going to back off this nut a little bit here, or back off this bolt a little bit here, so I can first get the feeler gauge in there. It seemed to be overly tight. That actually seems to be a pretty good feel right there. There's a little bit of drag for sure, not overly crazy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this down, and hopefully I haven't moved it at all. Just double check. Yeah, that's a nice amount of drag. It seemed like it was too tight before. Yep, I'm happy with that. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. I'm just going to check it first. This one seems pretty tight, overly tight as well. So let's back this off first. Okay, and then I'm going to loosen it off just a little bit here. Get my feeler gauge in there. Some of these spots are a little bit tighter than others. There's just things that are a little bit in the way, but you'll get to it. You'll find a way. So they're pretty close. Going to tighten it up just a touch. Maybe even just a touch more. Yeah, and I like the feel of that. So let's tighten this one down without trying to, hopefully I didn't move the, that's still good. Still liking that. Tighten it down for real. And I'm happy with that. So again, once you've done these, you can always stick a feeler gauge back in there. Make sure you're feeling good about the gap that you got in there. Make sure you've got enough room to get the feeler gauge in there, but that you're also able to sort of move it back and forth with a little bit of resistance. Again, you can do the same thing with the top, except it's the wrong one. Obviously, this is 0.12. I pull out the 0.08 in order to get the top one, the intakes. So here we go, 0.08. Just throw that in there. Got a bit of drag, love that. This side here, also a bit of drag, I like that. So I'm happy with cylinder 5. So I'm done. Intake valves, exhaust valves, and then move on to the rest of the cylinders. One tip is you're going through and checking the valves and making sure you're at the right cylinders, top dead center. Right now the top dead center is set for cylinder 4 based on the timing marks. So cylinder 4 here, so you'll notice if I go to adjust these, like just move them up and down, there's clicking, intake valves, and exhaust valves. So they're both, there's some clicking, there's some play there, so you can correctly adjust the valve lash. Now, because the timing is on cylinder number 4, if you check the other ones, you shouldn't have the same thing. So for this example, cylinder 5, the bottom two are clicky, but the intake is not. So the exhaust is, the intake is not. If you check cylinder 6, intake is clicky, exhaust is not. If you check cylinder 3, intake is tight, and so is the exhaust. Cylinder 2, exhaust is clicking, intake is not. Cylinder 1, intake is clicking, exhaust is not. So another thing to consider is you're going through, you're double checking those timing marks. Right now I'm on cylinder 4. Both the intake and the exhaust valves should have some play, like some clickiness, so you can actually adjust the valves. And if you don't find that's the case, you may be on the wrong cylinder. And if, let's say you're on, the timing says you're on cylinder 1 and you're finding that they're not in the position to be able to adjust, then maybe you're not looking at the right cylinder. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And that's about it. That's the last tip I have for you. After this, as I mentioned, I'll go around once more just to double check everything before I button it all up. From here, it's reverse procedure, put everything back in, put in new gaskets. In my case, it's going to be valve cover gaskets. I've got new spark plug tube seals, new upper intake plenum, new throttle body gasket. I did not need to replace the lower intake plenum on this one, so just FYI on this job and on this engine, I didn't need the lower intake gasket to be replaced, but the uppers I did need to do. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If it was, let me know by hitting that like button. If you have any questions or comments or a different experience, any tips to include, feel free to leave a comment. And then lastly, remember to subscribe to be notified of our latest DIY and tool review videos. Thanks for watching, everyone.